Chana, wait. Hello.
Yeah,
Can you see me? Like once?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
One second, Bhaiya. Can we put on some music and a waiting timer for a few minutes?
Plus, can Sindhu ma'am Shaljam also open the camera so that we are short
Sorry?
before the event? Ma'am, can you open your camera so that we are short before the event?
No, camera, I will not be able to open, sorry.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, okay. We should. We are live. Okay. Dhruv?
Yeah. Siddhant, I think we should get started.
Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second.
Sure.
I think we should have set the same background to me as well.
That's good. Let's start on doing that. Fine.
It's possible now.
Yes, ma'am.
Check now once. Yeah.
Send it to me on
Yes, ma'am.
WhatsApp.
I've mailed the background.
Hey, now I'm feeling like being there with the cam. Just a second. No, I think we will not go. It's okay. Yeah. Hey, Amar, one.
How do I set that as background?
Ma'am, go to the settings thing. Cam slash mic thing is there in the bottom itself.
Okay. Virtual background.
And yeah, on the virtual background, you can just upload it there. There's a plus sign. Just upload it there.
Where is the? I'm not getting that.
Just scroll
Scroll
down. Ma'am.
down, ma'am, please.
I'm not getting it. I clicked on cam mic. Since it went to virtual background.
Yeah.
Uh,
Make sure to uncheck I have a green screen. That should not be checked. And below that, under virtual backgrounds,
no,
there'll be a
it
plus sign
is.
in green.
No, there's nothing like that is seen on my screen. It says there's an exclamatory mark and heads up. The green screen feature uses a bit more computer resources than other features. More powerful your computer is, the better it will perform. Okay.
Ma'am, I think virtual background question mark below that, that plus mark is there, no?
Huh, huh, huh.
Plus and then the downloaded path wherever you have downloaded that.
Appears as a ghost.
No, ma'am, you have to actually
And
Um,
adjust it.
next is
Make it a
the left of ma'am somehow. The I think it has to be aligned
yes,
while
uh,
selecting something.
It's okay for now. I think if we are getting late, it's okay. We'll get started.
yes, ma'am.
Live show.
Siddhant, are you ready?
Yeah. Am I audible? Can
Yeah.
everyone confirm in the chat as well?
Yeah.
Right. So, welcome to NexCode, everyone, and a very good morning. We'll be starting with Shelja ma'am's speech in a few minutes. Before we start, I'd like to talk about the event. NexCode is the first coding event of the year being organized by Nexus, a vertical under the CSE club at PES University. It has been extensively designed to put the participants to a true test of competitive coding and give the beginners a beginner friendly start. The questions have been handcrafted, hell bent on testing the logical and technical skills of the coders. Also, as a side note, you are allowed to use Google or other websites for help. The best part, of course, is a huge prize pool of over 15 grand with over 16 prizes and a title of being one of the best coders from the campuses are up for grabs. This event has been in the making for the past couple of months, and now that it's finally happening, we're really excited to have you here. The team has been working tirelessly around the clock for the past few days, and we hope to deliver on the enormous expectations the participants have entrusted to us. Team Nexus is overwhelmed by the humongous amount of registrations we have received, 1,080 to be specific, from the two campuses across the university, even after extending the deadlines due to multiple requests. I take this opportunity to thank each and everyone who has been a part of this and been instrumental in making this happen. Please note that participants are not to communicate among themselves and if caught will be disqualified instantly. Without further ado, I'd like to call upon Shailja ma'am, chairperson of the CSE department, to give us a few words.
Very good morning. First of all, let me wish all of you a very happy new year because still we are in the month of January. Uh, I wish all the participants the very best of luck and expect that you will have a very fruitful coding rounds in the next sessions. Let me speak about a little bit on the competitive coding. In fact, I teach subjects like programming C, Python, and so on. And I also teach data structures and design and analysis of algorithms. These are my favorite subjects, and many a times in the classrooms I say that these subjects many we can call them as synonyms to computer science. So you can understand the impact of these subjects in the field of computer science. You pick up any field for that matter, maybe cryptography, security, data science, AI, ML, whatever you pick up in every field of computer science. There is an element of data structures, there is an element of algorithms, and you'll have to have deal with solutions to different problems, and all of these solutions definitely would involve data along with them. So, data structures and algorithms play a very important role. And another important aspect is these two subjects also teach you how to go about doing the problem solving. Okay, algorithms course in fact gives you a recipe of algorithms, different types of problems, and how do you go about designing these algorithms and get the solutions to these algorithms. I mean, these problems. So it is very important that these two courses have a lot of impact in the field of computer science, and problem solving and higher order problem solving would be equally important, and that is a necessary skill that every student must get. And this is where I would say that competitive programming is one important ingredient that you should have in your course of studies. Of course, formally we do have certain ingredients, but events of this kind, where the next code 22 is planning, that would really enhance your skills to an extent. I mean, if you are at a level, let us say X during the course, definitely you would many such events of this kind would take you to the next level Y, and that is the reason this particular event is so important, and I'm sure that you have all realized it, and that is the reason why you're all here. So I need not have to say, I mean, the taking by the registrations number, I can understand you have already realized the importance of coding, competitive coding, and more such events would definitely put you on and put you with an edge over others who are not so much into coding. And we have seen that students who are confident in coding, they have performed much better than others in the placements and as well as in their careers. So it is necessary that you take part in such events in the future as well. And I would conclude saying that the team has put in an excellent work. And there are many platforms, open platforms, that are available for competitive coding. But these guys, the team from Nexus, have done it so very well. They have put in all the thoughts and designed the problems in such a way that I'm sure you will have a very exciting journey in the sessions to follow. Wish you all the best, and my compliments to the team Nexus. That's all I wanted to say. Over to you, students. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Shailja ma'am, for the very encouraging words. Indeed, competitive coding really provides a good edge over the others. Now, I'd like to call upon Sindhu ma'am, faculty advisor for Nexus, to deliver a few words.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah. So first of all, I would like to wish everyone a very happy New Year 2022. And about this event, okay. So actually speaking, I would like to say some words about Nexus first. The Nexus team is planning for many events actually, and they're waiting to have the events maybe from 6 months. We're in the queue actually speaking. Okay, so this is the first event what we are having here, that is NexCode, a competitive coding competition. And very happy to be a part of this club. First of all, CSC club. Under this, we have Nexus, and now we have NexCode. So I would not, I don't want to say much about the competitive coding. Already, ma'am has told, and really nice words, ma'am. Thank you, and wish you all the best, everyone. You rock it, and thanks to Dr. Shailaja and the team, and as well as the management for making this event happen. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Sindhu ma'am, for the exuberant speech. I'd now like to call upon the core team of Nexus to give us a few words, starting with RN Rothar, the club head of Nexus, or RN Bhaiya as the freshers like to call him.
Okay, so thanks, Sid, and good morning, everyone. This is Anand Rauter, the head of Nexus. It's great to see so many participants here. I hope that you are all really excited. It takes a lot of courage and initiative to take part in something new, and I'm so glad that all of the freshers are doing this. I would like to thank every member of Team Nexus for organizing and conducting this event. I would also like to thank other clubs and participants for helping us and inform everyone about the event, and the CSC department for all the supports, including Sharja ma'am and Sidhu ma'am. Now I will hand it over to Siddharth and he will take you further.
Thank you, RN. Now, Dhruv Chawla, also the club head, will give us a few words.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our first coding event, NexCode. And I wish to brief you on this contest, the rules of the events, the prizes you can win. And after me, Aryan VS will take you through the demo of the platform and also share some nice tips about the event. Now, first thing, when we started uh, planning to host a competitive coding event, was that we expected around 200, 300 participants, as it's usually the case for such events. But then we hit that goal within the first few hours of opening the registrations. And we were all like very surprised because this was not a number we were expecting. And when we when we crossed 1,000, we were all just like, so didn't even imagine that something like this could happen. And we were really happy to see that a third of our participants are from EC campus and 2/3 of them are from RR campus. And another thing which I really liked is the number of freshers taking up interest in competitive coding events, because this is like really helpful and like will make the future semesters also for you much easier, because if you're really good at it, the subjects like DAA and DSA, like Shailaja ma'am said, would become much easier for you. Now, we are all very excited to share the experience of a competitive coding event with you, because such problems like help you in like thinking properly, solving real life problems as well. It just makes you a better problem solver in general. Now, the next thing I wanted to speak about was the problems. So we'll be having 10 problems of increasing difficulty. So the first four problems will be easy and will be 500 pointers, which I'd advise all the beginners to start with, because as you start off with these, you gain more confidence and move on to the tougher ones. Then we'll have the two medium problems worth 1,000 points, two hard problems worth 1,500 points, and two advanced problems worth 2,000 points, which gives you a total of 15,000 points. So whoever gets this highest score wins. Now, when you would think about competitive coding, you might think that it's about who can code the fastest or who can write the code in the less number of lines. But that's really not the case. It's like about understanding the problem, taking a pen and paper, and then working it out to find the best solution. What you could do is find the best solution on paper and then write the code in your language of choice. Or another way, which some coders also use, is just look at the problem, write a brute force solution, that is like try every possible combination, and then further try to optimize it. This is not that recommended, but this also works out for some problems. Next thing, I would like to tell you about the rules of the competition. As you all know, this is a 3-hour competitive coding contest, and we are hosting it on the HackerRank website. And you're all advised to log on to the website at least 10 minutes prior to the beginning of the contest, which is by 12:20 p.m., because the contest will start at 12:30 sharp and go on till 3:30 p.m. Next, all of you will be participating individually, and only those who have registered in the Google form are eligible for prizes. So if you haven't registered, you can take part in the event, but you're not eligible for any of the prizes.
Huh.
And any individual which we found involved in any sort of malpractice, plagiarism, sharing your code, or discussing the problems will be disqualified. Next, you will be given 10 problems of varying difficulty, like I already said, 500, 1,000, 1,500, and 2,000. Next, I would like to go over the scoring system. So all of these scores which I just mentioned, they have been assigned on your ability to solve a problem without prior knowledge or practice of concepts, or how long it takes you to implement a solution and then to optimize it further to get a better and better uh, time and speed and accuracy, as well as how long it takes to learn a particular algorithm or trick. Now, my friend VS had mentioned a good point to me, saying that some of the 2,000 points problem might be easier for someone who is familiar with some concept. Now, if you are familiar with that concept, the harder problem might also be easier. So, like, don't get overwhelmed when you see this problem has 2,000 points. It has to be harder than the 1,500 one. That might not be the case for you. Maybe you are good at that concept and you can do better in that problem. Next thing is that all the problems have multiple test cases and you'll have partial scoring. So if you pass only half of the test cases, then you'll get half of the points. If you pass all of the test cases, you get full points. And all the participants will be ranked on this score, so your total score. And if two participants end up having the same score, whoever took the least time to submit their solutions wins. That's how we will be performing the rankings. Now, the languages which we are allowing for this competition are C, C++, Python, JavaScript, or Java, since these are the most common languages used in competitive coding, and we also took your input on which all languages you wanted us to include, and that's the final list which we came up with. We would also like all of you to join our Discord servers if you haven't already. We have sent you the links via mail. These will have all the important updates, announcements, and we are free to clear any of your queries at any point of time. But you must not use this to discuss problems or solutions amongst any other people. If we find you doing that in the chat, you will be disqualified straight away. Now, if any of you find something that's wrong with any of the problems, I mean, of course, we have like taken all the measures that we could to make sure that everything is correct, and some of the test cases, I mean, all of the test cases are correct, but we are also humans, so like we might have made some problems or like something might be wrong. So please report to us immediately, and we will take appropriate measures to fix that. And all the decisions that are taken by us will be final. We will not entertain any further clarifications. Now, moving on to the fun part, the prize pools. The top three prizes, the three. The first place would be 3,000 rupees, second place would be 2,000, and the third place would be 1,000 rupees. Then we also have, based on the campus, best coder from RR campus gets 1,000, and the best coder from EC campus gets 1,000. As well as for the Mr. and Miss Robot, for best male coder gets 1,000 and best female code gets 1,000. Then we have some of the prizes also based on the questions. Right, one of the prizes which we thought would be really good is to keep a prizes for the first years. So the best coder from the first year would get 1,000 rupees. And then now, based on the problems, first to solve any 500 points problem. Since we have 4 of them, if you solve any of them first, you win 1,000. And as well as the first problem to solve, person to solve all 500 points problem wins 1,000. Right? Yeah. And then first to solve 1,000 points problems, uh, 500 into 2, right? So there's two medium problems, so each of them have a prize. So if you solve one, then you get a prize. If you solve two, then you get a prize. These can be given to two different people. So the same way, these are 6 prizes. Now, moving on to the coding tips, Aryan VS would be telling you about this. Thank you, guys.
Hello, guys. Thank you, Dhruv, for explaining the scoring really well. Like he said, there'll be 10 problems. 4 of them are 500 points worth. And then there's 2 each in 1,000, 1,500, and 2,000 categories. Um, so, yeah, first of all, I mean, I really did not expect that, we'll get over 1,000 registrations. We thought that at max about 200 300 for a competitive coding event, but like when it reached over 300 we were really happy, and now it's at like over 1,000. We really appreciate the participation. I'm going to demonstrate you the usage of the platform, how you're going to look at the problems, and what's going to come up when you open the problem page. So I'll start sharing my screen. Is my screen visible, Dhruv?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so guys, when you open a problem, you'll be taken to this page where you have your problem. You'll be given a nice statement for it. You need to like go through it and then try and understand it comprehensively. Try and like understand the problem properly before you ask any queries on Discord if you don't understand the problem or the test cases or something. You'll be given an input format which will tell you what format the input comes to you in, and then you're supposed to output it specifically in a certain format. You'll be given some sample test cases which you can test your code on, and you might have an explanation for that test case. In this particular Hello World challenge, we have we take in a string of input, we print hello world, and then for output we print the hello world string and then what we took as input. So when you scroll down, you'll come down to this editor section. You're free to use whatever code you want. You do not need to follow the template, and yeah, you can choose your language of choice. We have provided C++, C, JavaScript, Java, and Python. For the purpose of this challenge, I'll be using Python. So when you're using Python, you can choose PyPy 3 instead of Python 3. It's slightly faster in some cases. Okay, so you can put any kind of code you want. We are supposed to take a single line of input, so we can do that using the input function in Python. Now we're supposed to print the hello world string, and then our whatever we took as input. When you scroll down, you can see these few options. You can upload your code as a file. You can test against custom input. You can run your code. This option will only run your code on the sample tests. So if I try and run my code here, um, it's going to say that you've passed it. So when you pass all the test cases, everything will be green. If you don't pass something, it'll be shown in red, and the error corresponding to that will also be shown. So you might get like a time limit exceeded error, or a memory limit exceeded error, or a runtime error or something based on what kind of problem your code has. You can test on custom input with the optimized flags on their platform directly by providing your input here. Once you're sure that your submission is correct, you can submit the code and it will run it in all the test cases. Over here, we have two of them. For our challenges, we have 10, 15, 20, depends on the difficulty of the challenge. One more thing I would like to discuss is the time and memory complexity of a solution. So let's say that you had like some problem with a constraint of like the maximum bound of the array is 10 power 5, and you're performing some operation on the array. You're doing something inside the loop. So this would this is going to take some constant number of operations, and it's in total going to perform 10 power 5 ish operations, something around that. You can like safely assume that in 1 second you can perform up to like 10 power 7 or 10 power 8 operations safely in 1 second. So this would work. This would properly pass the test cases if your solution, this part is optimal. But if you had if you had n as 10 power 5 and you had two loops that did something, if they did this basically, then you in total you're doing 10 power 5 operations for every I, which is a total of 10 power 10 operations, which will definitely not complete within a second, and you'll probably get time limit exceeded errors. The same applies for memory. When you use too much memory, if you're allocating too much memory and more than that's allowed by the problem constraint, we have tried and kept everything optimal for different languages, tried and increase it for certain languages that have more dynamic objects, and uh, we have tried and maintain the balance for all languages. Again, yeah, when you submit code, you get uh, the correct answer. I'd also like to speak about. I mean, we as Nexus came up with a few tips which you could use. Like Dhruv mentioned, if you get stuck on a problem, do not do not like get stuck on a single approach and waste time on it. You can move on to the next problem and try thinking about that, because if you get stuck on one problem, you're going to end up spending too much time on it. Instead, try and get as many test cases as you can, because that's what matters. Higher score is ranked higher. So try and solve as many test cases as you can. Again, for beginners, start at the easier problems. That's the way to go. And if you're advanced, if you're experienced, then in this area in competitive programming, then I'd suggest like go for the harder problems straight away. Try and like spend time on it and be the first one to solve it. If you are the first one to solve it, then you can earn a lot of the prizes. All right, guys, thank you. On to Siddhant.
Okay. Thank you, Aryan. He was the head of the technical domain, in case we did not mention. Thank you for familiarizing us with the HackerRank platform. Before we move on, we'll be taking questions if any. So if there are any questions, put them into the chat section and we'll try to answer them.
Yeah, okay. So Mayank PM has asked, are all test cases available itself? So we will be showing you one or two sample test cases for all the problems. You can use these to understand the problem and also run a sample test of the code. But then the rest of the test cases will be hidden, and you will need to think on yourself why, if your code doesn't pass for those, what went wrong or what is the possibility that you haven't covered. And VS, can you also turn on your video and answer the questions?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so Pramod asks, is there a penalty for wrong submission? No, Pramod. Initially, we did think of having a penalty, a 5 minutes penalty for every wrong submission, but we decided to remove it in the end because, uh, we discussed and we thought it's best if we remove the penalties.
It's better for the newcomers and all the people, so that like you don't feel that you have to be correct every single time. You can always be wrong and then keep improving your solution.
Yes, the time is counted per question. So if let's say two participants have the same, the same number of points, then the tie is broken by the the time they spent on uh, solving their individual question. So for every question that you have partially solved, have more than one test case passed, the 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 submission time would be counted.
No, Sanat, you don't need to show your output. You just need to submit your solution, and it will automatically evaluate all the test cases. Just run your code, and it will tell you if you're right or wrong.
Ma'am, can you open your cameras as we would like you to also answer the questions?
And need to spend hackers for other test cases. You don't need to spend anything of that sort for anything.
Yashwant, you won't be able to see the test cases anyway because we haven't provided that functionality. Even if there was, you cannot see the
Yeah.
test cases except the sample test cases.
The judging criteria is based on the score that you get, right? So whoever gets the highest score will be the best, and if two people get the same score, then we will see who submitted all their submissions the fastest, right? That person would win. And yeah, yes, will the first 10 people be able to solve the questions?
Yes,
Yes.
Nidhi. Okay, go ahead, Dhruv.
The first four questions are going to be easy, so you guys will all be able to solve them. It might take you a bit longer if you're not familiar with the concepts, but you'll all definitely be able to solve them.
Yes,
Yeah,
you
yes.
can definitely attempt the questions in any order you want. You can start from the hardest, you can start from the advanced, any section you want. Try and go for the prize money if you want to. And yeah, good luck.
Yeah, if you are a first year or a beginner in this, I would suggest that you start solving from the easy problems. Otherwise, if you have lots of experience in the competitive coding, then I'd say start from the harder problems to try and grab the prizes. No, just choose any language. Uh,
No, guys, you aren't taking an exam. There isn't any negative marking or penalties. If you submit something right, you get points for the test cases which you pass, and yeah, no negative marking, no no time penalty. And
mm, okay, next. You run the coding the actual exam. This is not an.
this isn't an exam, Manoj. It's more of a fun event. Think of it as like a fun thing to do. A hobby to like take part in competitive programming contests, a way to improve yourself in, data structures and algorithmic stuff. The way you can improve yourself in computational thinking. So this isn't like an exam. Don't think of it as an exam where you have like marking or something. Okay, so the person who solves first means person who solved it first, the person who took less time to solve that particular problem. Person who took the person who solved it first. It's based on the time. So if I submit it at like the second minute and someone submits at the third minute, In the second minute, it's the winner, even though they get the same scores. It's not by the amount of time it takes to solve that problem after opening the problem. It's the person who solved it first.
And guys, you are allowed to use Google and other websites, and like you are meant to use Google. So that's not a doubt.
No, Achyut, there isn't any rule to answer the questions in any order. You can do it in whatever order you want. You can start from the hard problems and then go to the easier. You can do it any way around. You can jump between problems. It doesn't matter. Uh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Saksham, you can switch between any language you want. You can use any language for any problem. You can submit, solutions using different languages for the same problem also. It's totally your choice. Yes, definitely, Tejaswani. You can, write your code offline, test everything offline, and then once you're sure your code is ready, you can like just go copy paste everything or upload as a file, and then submit it onto the website. You're not required to use that template, whatever they've given. Would be helpful if you post a hacker rank. Okay, can you Dhruv post the hacker rank link on the YouTube description? It's hackerrank.com/nextcode, by the way.
We will do it after the questions round. Thank you.
Okay, Aryan. Tejas asks, how did the cash prize reach the winners? Okay, so once we have decided who the winners are, we'll be sending out emails to those people, and we'll be asking for your bank details. You can transfer them over, and we'll send you. You know, we are not sure yet how the prize money will reach you, but this is how it is in most contests. It might be cash prize. I mean, we might give out cash, but we don't know that. It's not confirmed yet.
Yeah, it will be a cash prize as confirmed by ma'am a little earlier today. You will be given cash prize in the CSC department when you reach college, like when the college reopens. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, Mohammed. See, we aren't a club. We are
Yes.
there's a CSE club, and we are a vertical under that club. There are many different verticals under the CSE club. We are just one of them, and we are an awareness club, and we'd like to do events which are beginner friendly and help you improve.
Oh wait, sorry, one sec. I just did the same message again. This only for first years. No, Tejas, it's for all students. And what? There's some. Yeah, just delete it and paste in the text editor. That's fine. You can don't need the default text. Uh, no, there's no mechanism like that. It's free for all. You can solve any language, any problem in any order.
No, no, Sahana, this isn't a proctored test. This isn't an exam at all. This is something which you do for fun. You do not need to switch on your camera. You're free to use Google to search for solutions. Yes, Rehan. You can, if you get anything wrong, you can do multiple submissions. As long as you don't get it right, you can feel free to submit.
Uh, Same question. The first four questions are easy. You will be able to solve them even if you're a beginner. Uh, You can submit answer more than once. It's completely fine if you submit incorrect answers as well. Uh, there will be hidden test cases, but we will also be providing two sample test cases so you can make sure that you are right. Yes.
Yes, guys. See, there's a resources section also provided in the PDF which was sent out. You can go through all those resources. You can search wherever you want. You can use Google. See, the problem which we came up with isn't copied from anywhere else. So we don't think that you'll be able to find a solution, but you might find a similar problem. If you do find a similar problem and are able to adapt it to your solution, then use that to your advantage. Use Google. You can use whatever you want. Next question, Dhruv.
Yeah, one sec. There's many of the questions are repeated. I'm finding if there's a unique question. This is an interesting question.
Yeah, see, it does depend on like who solved the problem first, but if your code isn't efficient, then you probably won't pass all the test cases. So it depends on how many test cases you pass, because that's going to give you the total score, and only if your total score matches with someone else, then the tie is broken using whoever solved the problem first, whoever made the submission with the highest number of correct test cases first.
Uh,
Do you have any thoughts on this, Dhruv,
yeah,
about the?
so we have all the problems which are present. We have made sure that times are proportional. Okay, so if one code takes 5 seconds to run in Python and the same code takes 3 seconds to run in C, then we have kept the time limit as 3 seconds and 5 seconds. So the same code will approximately take the same amount of time. The same code, if it's wrong, it won't work, and the same if it's right, it will work in both the languages. So you made sure of that. Yes, it's allowed in all competitive programming events. And you can definitely switch between the problems at any point of time. It's completely fine. And yes.
Yeah, so see, you can't use any library which you choose to, because see, let's say if you wanted to use NumPy in Python, you probably won't be able to do it. Only the standard library package is present for all languages. So for C++, if you wanted to use like boost precision or something, you won't be able to use it. Only the standard template library. Same with Python, only the standard library.
So what the main thing is, like you're asking a question. Now your main goal in every problem is to pass all the test cases, right? Now once if your solution is efficient enough and optimized enough that it passes all the test cases, you should move on to the next problem. There's absolutely no point in trying to optimize it further because it will not give you any more points. Yeah. Then event timings are from 12:30 to 3:30. Yes.
Yes, Abhinav, there is partial marking for test cases. So if there are 10 test cases and the problem is worth 1000 points, then each test case is valued at 100 points. So if you solve 5 test cases, you get 500 points. If you don't manage to solve everything, you will get an error saying what kind of error you had, whether it was a TLE or a MLE, or if you got a runtime error, or it'll be shown to you. Yes, Vijay, the leaderboard will be live. As and when people solve, you can see which problems are getting higher solved, which problems have lower solves. And based on that, if you haven't solved a problem, you can go to the highest solved one and then try solving that. Use the scoreboard to your advantage. It is live. See, it depends on what submission gave you the maximum score. So if your second submission gave you more score than the first submission, then yes, the second one's time will be counted in breaking tie breaks. So uh, and if it scored the same number of test cases as the previous one, then the previous one will be used. So if two submissions solve the same number of test cases, then the one that was previously used to solve those many test cases will be used as your solve time.
Mm,
I hope that makes
okay.
sense.
Yeah, yeah. Your best, the best main thing is your best solution is always considered. Just remember that. Whatever you submit. Yes, you can
Yes,
always see
Ashwin,
your
you're
rank.
right. Yeah.
Math module can be used for Python. Yes, it can be used for Python. When will the results be announced?
We will be announcing the results in 1 or 2 days of the event. We'll have to like go through the submission, check for plagiarism. There's a lot of work to be done because people copy sometimes. You're advised not to, but if you do and you're caught, you'll be disqualified, and you won't be eligible for any of the prizes. You should refrain from copying. This isn't an exam. Try and do it for fun.
Is there any time limit? No, all the problems. I mean, all the problems have a time limit for the same time limit. If you need the time limit for any particular language, you can always ask us on Discord. Yeah, VS.
Yeah, sure, Mukund. You can definitely help make an editorial if you want to after the contest. Right now, we are already preparing an editorial and we have covered almost all the products. That will be the official editorial. But if you do submit your own editorial to us with a different approach, then yes, we'll add it to the solutions and so that others can have a look at it.
Mm. To size or execution speed of programs matter. Uh, no, see, the size and execution speed of your program matters as long as you can cover all the test cases. So basically, just try to make your code efficient and optimized enough to be able to solve the test cases. And oh yeah, wait. This is a very important question. Aryan, can you tell me?
Yeah, so see, like we said earlier, the problems we think are unique. You shouldn't be able to find the exact same problem elsewhere. We've tried to make it that way. But if you do find a resemblance, then use it to your advantage. The way we are going to check for plagiarism is whether or not you've shared the code to someone else. We made sure that the difficulty is in such an order that as it goes from the easier to harder problems, the number of solves should gradually decrease. So if a particular problem has like more solves than we expect, then we think that there's probably some plagiarism going on in that problem, and we try and like go through all the submissions, use there's this tool by Stanford called measure of software similarity. So we'll be using that, and we check if you've shared your code with someone else, and yeah, we do that.
Yeah, VS.
Okay, so I
I
need to
think
read this
this is
again.
only valid in the case of tiebreaker. How's the? You can just explain to them how the tiebreaker is calculated.
Okay, so see, so both of them solved the problem completely. Both of them managed to get 500 points. Is that correct? So if both of them solved all the test cases, got 500 points, the one who submitted it earlier, the one who solved it earlier, will be given the preference. They'll be higher. So if the person who solved it at the second minute
Submits
has
it.
the same score as Rother, you're
Someone
unmuted.
who submits it earlier. Yeah. Someone who's
Yes.
the one who submits it earlier will be given the prize.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so when you submit it at second minute will win the prize. Doesn't matter if he took 2 minutes or if he took 1 minute to solve the problem.
As long as you have the same total score. The time thing will be only used if you have the same total score.
Yeah, for first blood as well. The first blood itself, whoever solves it first.
First correct submission with the highest number of test cases solved is the one
Yeah.
with the given the preference.
Yeah. Okay. Imagine this. Okay. Suppose you got 1400 points in a problem at the 50th minute. Okay, and then someone else submits a solution with 1450 points at the 100th minute. Then the one with the 1450 points would be awarded the prize because he got more points than you. Yeah, that's
Also,
that.
guys, we'll be ending the stream at 12 o'clock. If you have any further queries, you can ask. You can ping us on Discord and ask.
Yeah,
You have
and
5 more minutes to ask questions.
VS
Yeah, Dhruv?
will we get solutions? Yeah, you will be getting solutions for all the problems after the minute. Some people were asking how to switch between problems and like, can you just share your screen and show that once?
Uh, can you wait for a minute? Sit. Do the closing ceremony
Yeah, yeah.
first.
Yes.
Sure, sure, sure.
Continue.
Yeah, what happened?
We will just go with the closing ceremony first and then take other questions.
Okay, sure. Siddhant, you are on spotlight.
Yeah, right. So we hope all questions are answered till here, and if not, you can stay back into the meeting. Uh, we'd like to thank the CSE, and on a closing part, we'd like to thank the CSE department, Shelja ma'am and Sindhu ma'am for supporting us with NextCode. And I take this opportunity to thank all the other clubs who helped us market this event on their social media handles and their WhatsApp groups, among others. Kudos to the marketing team for doing an amazing job. Lastly, I'd like to thank all the participants who showed up in such huge numbers. Most importantly, don't forget to have fun and enjoy this event. Even if you don't win, there's a lot to learn and take away from here. We wish all participants the best of luck. Now you may proceed to Hacker Rank. Thank you. If you have any more questions, you can stay back.
Yeah. VS, can you just like open any random contest and just show them how to switch between the problems?
Yeah, sure. Give me a second. I'll open a contest.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah, definitely. If you get disconnected at any point of time, you can join back at any time. It's completely fine. Mm. It starts at 12:30, but we'd advise you to log in by 12:20, at least 10 minutes before the event.
Through my screen is visible, right?
Yes.
Okay, so for example, when you open the contest page, you'll be so this is a the next code page. After the timer finishes, you'll be shown an option to go to the contest page, where you'll be shown your 10 problems, their difficulty, and their points. I'm not going to go to that page because that might reveal some things for some of you. Uh, but I'll take the Project Oiler Plus contest on HackerRank and show you a demonstration. So let's say these are your 5 problems that are shown on the contest page. You can choose, whatever you want. Let's say I wanted to do digit factorials first as an easy problem. It loads. I solved it. After I come up with a solution, I make a submission, and yeah, if I solve it, then I can manage to go to the I mean, I can like try solving one of the other problems. If I don't feel like solving this, I can just start from some of the other challenge which I might like from the problem statement and work on that. So yeah, you're free to
Yes.
choose any order in which you want to do it. Yeah, Dhruv.
Uh, can you just show like once you make a submission and you want to view it again and you want to edit the solution which you just submitted?
I think I cannot do that in the. Okay, 1 second. Um, so yeah, you will be given an interface which is something like this. It will show you which test cases you got the wrong answer on and what all you failed at. It'll show you this description of how many test cases you failed. And yeah, you can like continue editing here if you want. You can like go back to your code editor, write your code, and then copy paste it onto here. If you don't like copy pasting, then you can upload your code as a file. And yeah, you can choose to submit in any language you want in whatever is available uh, during the contest for any problem. I guess that's enough, Dhruv.
Yeah, just this two last questions and we stop.
Okay.
Will the code? Yeah, the code will be auto saved. The same question as Manoj also asked. Now, if you do have a bad internet connection, then I would advise using a code editor and then copy pasting your solution. So even if you have any internet issues, you will not lose any progress. Yeah. Thank you, guys. We'll be closing the questions now. Thank you all for joining. If you have any further questions, just ask us on Discord. I'll put the Discord link also in the chat if any of you didn't. I don't have it.
Thank
And
you guys once again for the
Thank you,
great
guys.
participation. All
All
the
the best
best.
for the event.
Yeah, all the best.
Yeah, all the best, guys.
all the
All the
best,
best
guys.
for some links.